And then I'm going to start with some slideshows and with a very short few slides, I should say, not really a slideshow. And then everybody else can share what they're doing or questions, concerns about the course, suggestions, whatever. But thanks, Gail, for kicking us off. Just a minute while I get it into slideshow here. Oh my goodness. It never seems to get easier no matter how many times you do this.
You can go the button.
Slideshow, I found it.
Oh yeah.
Play from start. Okay, finally, thank you. All right, so welcome to the course, Climate Advocacy, Making Policy Change. We have about 850 course participants, and I know we have over 50 countries. In the email that you should have received today, I'm not sure if you received it yet, we actually have country counts. So the biggest number is of participants from 91 countries, from China, followed by Nigeria, followed by the US. So congratulations, China and Nigeria. We still accept new course participants. As Gail said, sometimes it's fun to take it from people that you work with or people who are nearby. So feel free to share the announcement. We will be taking registrations until tomorrow, Friday at midnight, New York time. I don't know, I see on the WhatsApp group, some of you have not found or gotten this, the email that's from noreply@registration.edx.org. That tells you how to get on the course platform. If you cannot find this email, please email to civicecology@cornell.edu, put climate in the subject line. I can't help you because I don't know the technology. Our technology person, Amy Daniel, will help you. And also sometimes if you put it in, if you have problems, if you put it in our WhatsApp group, which is right now more active than our Facebook group, other people have more experience and they figured it out and they may be able to help you. So I would say those are the two ways to get help if you have problems getting into the edX platform. We do have 2 language groups right now. So these are small groups of people who are, well, not so small for the Chinese group because there's a lot of people, but they're groups that meet outside of the course sessions to help each other understand the materials and discuss ideas, etc. So we have a Chinese language group. Fish, I don't know if you want to say anything more about that. I assume all the Chinese students are aware of it.
Oh, definitely. Yes, we use WeChat
Mm-hmm.
as a very kind of concentrate platform for communicating all the course materials and discussions. But the challenge is the messages are going so fast. So we also use email at the same time to keep everybody on the same page. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's the particular thing with our participants in China at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have a Persian language group. It's being run by Dr. Zara Golshani, who's been working primarily in the past with Iranian students. She's Iranian American. But this time she would love to have Afghan students in her group as well as the Iranian students. And we do have 2 maybe Tajik students. She's willing to meet with them separately because although the language apparently is understandable orally, the script is different. So that information came out in the email, how to contact Zara. But if you're having problems with that, again, email to the Civic Ecology Lab, email or put it in WhatsApp, and I'll try to give you that contact information. Since we have so many Nigerian, I think around 150 students, and of course, if we include other African countries, Ghana, Tanzania, Zimbabwe are the ones that I've seen a lot of. There was somebody from Gambia just registered this morning. So a lot of African countries are represented. And if anybody wants to come forth and lead a group, it's, you can do whatever you want with it. You can have discussion groups online. You can just have your own separate WhatsApp group. Just let us know and we can then convey that material to other students. Okay, so just to remind you, we have 4 webinar speakers. We had Joanna Setzer yesterday. Her recording is already posted on the week 1 website or edX site under webinar. And I also put the link in the WhatsApp group. Next week, I'm super excited to have Jessica Teese. A lot of our readings are by Jessica. She's the author on them. Fish, do you know anything more about Jessica? It feels like she's worked in China for years. I assume she speaks
Yeah.
Chinese.
Well, I haven't met her in person, but yeah, I read lots of her writings, and I think she started doing research in China since almost 20 years ago. I believe she can speak pretty good Mandarin.
Yeah,
And yeah, I just found she is really one of the I think the best Chinese scholars at this time to talk about China, advocacy in China and all the kind of political issues. But she is a political scientist, so I think it's gonna be a very special opportunity for us to interact with her in person, because sometimes we find people, especially some of my friends, for example, in China, they're not very familiar with this area, so they're very familiar with this terminology. So once you say this words such as authoritarian, they might feel a little bit uncomfortable because the lack of knowledge. So I would say this is going to be a really good opportunity for us to learn from her and to talk with experts like her in this particular area, because we all want to achieve something positively and constructively in terms of policy change. That's it.
thank you. Yeah, so we have Dr. Teets next week from Middlebury. Then the week after, we have another Chinese scholar, Hao Zhuang. She goes by the English name of Hope. I know Hope because she got a PhD in our department at Cornell, and now she's working in Southeast Asia. You can see the program. You can search Explore program with I don't know what they do with that acronym, but basically she works on landscape scale governance and forestry issues in Southeast Asia, and she's out of Bangkok. And then our final speaker is Mercy Abutsa. She's a Cornell Master's of Professional Studies student at Cornell, and she founded an organization called Climb to Nigeria. I know I was looking at your discussions yesterday on the edX platform, and several of you talked about different organizations you might want to join up with. Well, we'll learn about Climb to Nigeria. Maybe that's an organization also that you would be interested in joining forces with. So I'm very excited about our webinar speakers, and yeah, I hope you'll join us on Wednesdays. Okay, and then of course Thursdays, as today, we have an informal discussion on office hours. A few guidelines for office hours: keep your remarks brief so everyone gets a chance to speak. And remember, and this is really important, our local contexts are very, very different in different countries. And this is especially for talking about advocacy and opportunities for advocacy. I was on a discussion, I can't even remember what it was for, but a couple of weeks ago, and one of the advocacy things that I do is I write letters to Congress a lot, write letters to our elected officials. And there were people from several other countries, and they had never even heard of doing that. Like, they didn't know who their elected officials were, and it just wasn't a tradition to be constantly back and forth talking and having meetings with and sending letters to elected officials. So, that's just an example of how things really differ. And I'm really, really looking forward to learning from you about what are the opportunities for advocacy in your different countries. Third, respect these differences and the challenges, including any safety concerns. So in some countries, perhaps if you did what I'm doing, writing letters to elected officials, maybe that would pose a safety concern for you. So avoid anything that has a possibility of posing a risk safety-wise for you. And then finally, well, I just said it, but I'll emphasize it, don't do anything to jeopardize your own safety or that of your fellow participants or advocates. Fish, did you want to add anything there?
No, unless anyone has any particular question that we can answer later.
Okay, I'm almost done. So then finally, why climate advocacy? Well, first, as Gail mentioned, we've done lots of courses and we tend to focus on individual lifestyle actions. These are things that you do every day in your own life, personally, like drive less or recycle, or maybe if you're in the US or a wealthier country, eating less meat. Second, to address the climate environmental crises, we need to do more than lifestyle actions. I think lifestyle actions are super important. I definitely do them to the extent that I can, but we need to really change systems. We need, for example, new laws. So the challenge for the course is the opportunity for changing systems varies widely across different governance systems or different countries. And the opportunity for this course is to learn from each other across different countries with different governance systems. And I'm also looking forward to learning from all of you. And I hope you're looking forward to learning from each other. Okay, just a reminder, next week, next Wednesday, be sure to come on for our webinar at 9 a.m., May 29th, 9 a.m. New York time. So that's all I have. I don't know if there's any questions in the chat. It looks like we have a lot of messages. We have 35 people on the call. So I think if you're brief and really to the point, you're welcome to put up your hand and then you can unmute yourself. Or Fish, have you been following the chat? Do we have anything in the chat that needs to be answered before we go into other discussion?
Not really. Please, Miss. Someone Onia asking about the recording from yesterday. Yes, so you can find the recording from the edX platform in week 2 section.
Week 1, sorry.
Sorry, week 1.
Yeah. So if you go at whoever asked this, have you been on? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Julius.
pretty much the only question.
Julius, if you're on edX Edge, our platform, go to week 1 and you should see a section that says webinar. You should go there. You should be able to click on the link to the recording. I also posted it in the WhatsApp group, but you'll have to kind of go way up to find it. I can try to remember to post it again today. All right, great. It looks like somebody put in there they want to start a Africa group. That's also Julius. Did you want to, Julius, do you want to unmute yourself and share what you had in mind? It looks like you're asking people to get in touch with you through LinkedIn.
Yeah, yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Good afternoon.
We can hear you. Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Nigeria.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Julius from, yeah.
Just go ahead.
We can't hear you now, Julius. We lost you. Okay, maybe Julius will come back on. But
the webinar for yesterday due to the
Julius, your connection's going in and out. I don't know if you have another colleague who you might be able to just text with or something and can share what you had in mind.
Oh, he's also asking how can he join the WhatsApp group? Is there a way we can send people here the group link? I'm not very familiar with that.
Can you, Fish, can you or anybody else who has gotten a letter from us like that says welcome to the course, this is, all these details about the course.
Right.
The WhatsApp link is in that letter.
Right.
So if you could go to that letter and post the WhatsApp and link.
Okay.
That'd be great.
I'll do that.
Okay, great. All right, so So this is, as I said, this is open. So we're just gonna sort of wait here until somebody either unmutes themselves, raises their hand, or types something in the chat for us to discuss. Thank you, Pauline. Well, maybe I'll pose a few questions. Has anybody done advocacy work? And if so, do you want to talk about it just briefly? And make sure you tell us your name and what country you're from. And, you know, I personally, I would really love to learn about the context. What are some of the challenges and opportunities in different countries for contacting your public officials, meeting with them, having peaceful demonstrations, joining climate organizations that are doing this kind of work, like nonprofit groups. Or maybe this is a totally new topic to you and you can share that too. Maybe you've worked mostly on lifestyle changes, or climate is a totally new topic to you.
Good morning once again, Doctor, and all participants in this training course. My name is Walter Gregorio. I am from Angola. And so far, I am developing a project on waste management strategy to control and eradicate wastes in a community in Angola. The idea is to help communities identifying, knowing, having awareness of the practices that affect the environment. And the project aim is, or the project objective is to identify the main causes associated with the solid waste management. And the project is going to involve government participation or cooperation in promoting climate advocacy. So, answering your question, it's not so easy to meet with government and other private institutions, but of course, with resilience, with clear objectives and persistence is possible. And I believe other countries in Africa is not easy as well, but we are here to try to make things happening, you know. Yeah. That's
Thank
basically
you.
what I wanted to share.
Thank you. So does anybody have any questions for Walter? I just would appreciate, I have a question, of course. So appreciate a couple more details. So you're working, do you have an organization that you're working with or you run that's focused on, so it's more like a non-governmental organization focused on waste issues? And then you want to transition to climate issues or add climate issues? I wasn't quite sure how all this fits together. This is for you, Walter. You still there? You're muted if you were trying
Yes. We are actually working by ourselves, youths and adults who are interested in making change, transforming the communities and contributing for our knowledge with our knowledge. So we are not working with any other organization. This is a project that we are developing, and we expect to convince and to receive proposals or some collaborations through the work that we are preparing.
Okay, so it's a youth group.
Yes, me
Okay.
and some other folks.
Okay, and you
Yeah.
are, through the work you're doing, and thank you for sharing. It's really wonderful that you're doing this work, very impressive. And through that, you're developing collaborations with other groups, maybe formal or informal. And then
Yes.
and so you can form, one of the topics that we cover a lot in the course is coalitions or groups of different groups or a network of different groups who are working together. And so it sounds like that's what you're trying to build, is a coalition of groups interested in solid waste issues, environmental issues, climate issues. Would that be accurate?
Yes, that's the idea, because looking at other countries like USA, for instance, they are much more advanced in terms of waste management practices, like use, recycle, and reuse of wastes. And back home, our communities, they don't know what is all about. Recycle, collection and selection of wastes. So yeah, that's what we are trying to develop.
Yeah. Were you in the last course we taught, the plastics course?
The first lesson?
No, last month, Cornell taught a different course called, it was on plastics.
No, I was not. This is my first participation.
Okay, great, welcome. Well, the reason I'm asking is because a lot of the Nigerians in that course, Nigerians in particular that I remember, but I'm sure people from other countries were posting a lot on plastics and how they were repurposing like plastic bottles for different purposes. So I think the group that Julius had posted was the Africa group, and that would probably be if you were able to look in the chat and see the contact information for that group, it might be a great opportunity. I don't know how much you're talking to people from other countries in Africa, but it might be a great way to also form a network with people who are working on these same countries in like more similar conditions, say, than in the US.
Yes.
Okay, but sounds great. Fish, do you mind putting in the chat drawdown.org? Because just one of the things I would say to people working on waste, and maybe you have some insights for me, is that we often think about plastic waste or paper waste, cardboard, and we forget about food waste. But in terms of climate, food waste is super important, because if depending on where you put it in the US, a lot of it goes to landfills. So they are managed landfills. It's not like just people dumping it somewhere, but because the conditions lack oxygen, they're anaerobic. The food waste breaks down and it produces methane, which is a very, very strong greenhouse gas, much stronger than what we usually think about, carbon dioxide. So if you go to, I think Fish probably already put it in the chat, if you go to drawdown.org and click on their solutions table, then you'll find food waste, or just search drawdown food waste, and it'll give you some information about food waste, which might be something else you want to look at in terms of the waste problem related to climate in particular. All right. Anything, did you want to say anything, Walter? I saw you were unmuted, but now you're muted
Hello?
again. Julius is back. Julius,
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I want to share what also my team and I are also doing concerning climate change. Firstly, as I said, I want to thank you for the opportunity including me in this program. Like there are many youths in the Africa, most especially in my country, Nigeria, that don't even know what is climate change, and they are not reachable. Though due to the high technology, advance in technology, many people are coming online. So we still have few people who are not available online, and it's very difficult for them to get to know what is climate change all about. So my team and I, so what we're doing is we're trying to create this awareness because, like I said, most people don't even know what it is all about, and Africans suffer most of the impacts of this climate change. So what my team and I are doing is to advocate, to tell people, to educate people about that. Like somebody like me, every day on my status on WhatsApp, I talks about climate change. I talks about the causes, the effect, and what we can do as an individual. What we can do as an individual to mitigate it. Just come on trekking a short distance instead of driving. Make sure you switch off all your lights before going out. So one of those things, so they are so conscious of that, and it has really bringing results. Now, so another thing we're doing is we need to consigning one of the ways of mitigating this climate change is the use of renewable energy. So we focus more on solar energy. So we are trying to, after a series of programs on green jobs, so we decide, okay, to pick one of the green job, which is solar energy installations. So right now, we are looking forward to train more people on solar energy installations, to tell them so that once we have more people who knows about it, who are empowered to install, so there will be more, it will create more awareness. And the more like what I do at home, when there is no light, people passing around, they discover that I'm having light. So the next question, how do I get light without generator on? So they find out that, oh, it's using solar. So the next thing is that, how do I get this solar? This and that. And doing that, that's great awareness. And it helps a lot when you are not using generator that use fossil fuel, and when you are not using other source of electricity. So, and that is what we are trying to do. So we are looking forward to collaborate with other people who are doing exactly what we are doing. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Julius, for sharing. And just a couple follow-up questions, and then we'll go to Bonnie, who has his hand up. So what kind of is this just a loose organization that that say you started, or you're working with some friends or colleagues, or do you have a formal nonprofit or non-government organization?
No, it's not government organizations. It's just a business name. We register it.
Oh, you register as a business? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we register as a business. Yeah, like where we are operating under is more of business name. We register it under business name because we need more money to buy more equipment for training on solar installations. And also we are trying, like I said, the new initiative we are bringing on board. We started by just education, creating awareness and advocacy. So we want to go to the next step by empowering people on one of the way to mitigate it. That has to do with solar energy, which is a renewable energy. So in this place, we need capital, we need funding to get some of our equipment in place. compared to the educations, advocacy, where we don't need to spend more money to pass the message around. So we're trying to innovate by bringing in these capacity buildings on solar energy installations. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we look forward to learning more about your business and what you're doing. And thanks for posting the link on LinkedIn. You might want to post it again because it's way up now in the in the chat. So I'm going to go to Bonnie, and if you can just introduce, say your name so we know how to pronounce it, and then where you're from, and then yes, you can briefly introduce what you're doing, and then we'll go to Samuel after that.
My name is Bonnie. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Again, Nigeria. I'm from Nigeria. Yeah. I was in the last course on for Kano University on hub on the climate education and community education. Sorry, climate education and community engagement. I did that course, and it was a great. I did it, and I got my certificate, and it was great and interesting. And since then, I've been doing a lot of advocacy for the course to my colleagues and friends in my group that they should register for this course. I think this particular one, I did a lot of posting and sending to friends that they should register, but they should go and learn, because I have learned a lot. While I'm an integral ecological part of climate change. I work with Ladder to Sea movement here in Nigeria, coordinating the Ladder to Sea movement.
Could you say that, Bonnie? Could you say
Ladder to Sea movement? The Pope encyclical for climate change.
Oh, so it's you're working with a Catholic initiative?
Yes, yeah, I'm volunteering for Ladder to Sea movement.
Okay.
Yeah, as the coordinator for Nigeria.
Oh my goodness.
And what we're doing, even in Greenfield sometime, and what we do is we do more of prophetic advocacy. This time now is not prophetic advocacy. You know, talking to those religious leaders that they should talk to their members of the congregation about climate change and how they can mitigate it. Presently, we are working in the Ladder to Sea Week, and if you look at the Ladder to Sea Week, today we talk about waste reduction. In today Thursday is waste reduction. Yesterday was food. Then the other day was transport. You know, so these are things we keep telling them, but we are pushing on for the faith leaders to talk to the church members, to the congregation about climate change and how it's going to affect them. Because when the crisis comes, it doesn't care whether you are Christian, whether you are Muslim, whether you are Hindus. Climate change does not care. It affects every individual. So we've been pushing and advocating for just transition, also the end of fossil fuel non-proliferation treaty, and then the energy. So these are what we've been doing with the Ladder to Sea movement here in Nigeria, with the support of the global body, and we've been doing a lot. So nice work, Cornell University. You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much. And if you could put, I don't know if there's any link to the initiatives that you're talking about. If you could put that in the chat, I think that'd be helpful. Then we can kind of read more about them.
What link?
Well, you said you're working with the Pope.
No, Ladder to Sea movement. I'll put it in the chat. Ladder to Sea movement.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
That would be great. And thanks for recruiting so many Nigerian students. You were very successful in your outreach efforts there. Okay, so Priscilla, did you want to unmute yourself and pronounce your name and tell us where you're from, and then whatever else you want to share?
Yeah, hello, please. My name is Priscilla from Ghana. I also would like to share what I've been doing here in my community. Actually, I'm working on a project that converts organic waste from the landfill site into composting, and in this case, it is being converted to high-grade organic fertilizer that usually entice the farmers in its usage. That will convert them from utilizing the inorganic fertilizers, which is rampant here. And the main reason is to help to contribute towards the solving of the problems that climate change is bringing on board. And as you rightly said, converting these tons of organic waste into usable usable material such as compost will definitely reduce the methane gas emission that is a contributing factor to climate change. And what I also do is to engage these farmers in advocacy, as well as the students, teaching them how to enrich their farmyard manure, the waste, kitchen waste, food waste, by utilizing an indigenous plant. I discovered an indigenous plant that has the capability to remediate polluted municipal organic solid waste. Yes, for instance, in Ghana here, sorting our waste is very difficult for us. So even if you want to venture into composting and you go for the organic waste from people's houses, you get it in a mixed form. They mix it with other kind of waste. So composting, it becomes difficult because getting the required compost for usage becomes a little bit challenging because of its high heavy metal concentration. So this indigenous plant that I discovered that was inculcated in the composting process, at the end of it, I realized that it was able to reduce the heavy metal concentration at the end of the composting process, as well as helping the nutrients or boosting the nutrient requirements. And with this year, I would also like to investigate more into the potentials of this indigenous plant in land reclamation. So I would want to work with the farmers that they should plant this kind of indigenous plant on their farm to reclaim their lands that has been degraded. And specifically, maybe farmers in the mining community where their land is likely to be infested with heavy metal concentration. So the idea is to grow this indigenous plant on their farmland to remediate it. And afterwards, the cycle will be closed in the composting process where waste will be collected from household, farm waste, and at the end of the day, when it's being composted together, the levels of metals is said to be reduced, as well as utilizing other parts of the indigenous plant that wasn't affected with the heavy metal concentrations as a source of food, which helps in the community becoming resilient against the issues relating to climate change. It also helps the crops to become resilient, because in times of drought, when the compost is being used, or even when the plant is being planted on their farmlands, nutrients are able to be retained in the soil. Organic carbon is able to be retained in the soil, as well as helping the crops to become resilient, which will help in ensuring food security, food safety, and the rest. So that is what basically I intend to do. And I also intend to launch an NGO which will pilot this upscaling of the project, and come early next month or late next month, I'm still looking forward for sponsors to support this agenda, so that in my little way, the things that I've observed and noticed about this indigenous plant could be well harnessed to help towards the contribution of solving climate change problems. So basically, that is what I am into here in Ghana, and that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Priscilla. That's really impressive. It sounds like you have an extensive science background. I'm wondering if you could put in the chat, if there's any links to a description of your project or what you're doing. And it sounds like maybe it's not a formal organization right now, but that you're trying to form an NGO to do this.
Yes.
I think that would be really, really interesting and helpful. So yeah, I'd love to read more about what you're doing. So thank you. And I wanted to give Samuel and then Bem an opportunity also. So we have 15 minutes left. So Samuel, can you, what did you want to share with us and where are you from?
Okay, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. I'm Samuel Siokore, originally Nigerian, currently in the US for my postgraduate. I'm doing my MBA in SAP Analytics and Sustainable Business in Fairfield, Iowa. And what I want to share is on first of all, I want to say thank you for the opportunity of joining this course. I know my friend that is in Cornell, Mercy by name, recommended the program to me. She shared it to my WhatsApp, and I was like, wow, this is something that I'm really interested in and something that I've been working as well on for the past 7 years now. And part of which include contributing to the drafting of the Nigerian Climate Change Act, which is the climate change of my country, and also having worked with international organizations on policy. My last role was on international financial policy review in addressing climate change issues that have to do with fund. And currently I work with I serve as one of the Santiago Network Advisory Board on loss and damage, advising countries, like providing technical support to assist countries in addressing climate change induced loss and damage. My initiative is more into climate education, which also is an integral part of climate change advocacy. And part of my initiative is one of the first initiatives that came up with climate education curriculum in Nigeria. And we also worked with the Federal Ministry of Environment in Nigeria to implement this project, reaching out to 30 out of 36 states in Nigeria and impacting over 200,000 target audience. And I will share the link here. And what part of the things we've been doing is to educate kids and members of community about climate change, how they can be able to address climate change issues, more about strengthening coping mechanism and building resilience of communities in addressing climate change issues, and also working with key stakeholders in making sure that climate change policy is integrated into their constituency plan, or the plan for their constituencies. And we've also have programs where students, we are able to have direct engagement with their members of parliament to ask them questions and also to send to them about what they want for their communities, which has been productive. And our last climate MP was in 2022, which was marked with the London climate change week. Yeah, I think so. London Climate Change Week. That was the last one we had was 2022, and it was also productive too. And it's a pleasure being here, and I hope to collaborate with everyone here, because funny enough is that the Pop Nigeria Initiative has also been replicated in about 5 different African countries using the same model we are using. And that is a key success story for the initiative. And I look forward to learning more about climate change advocacy, because it's something that I am so interested about, especially the policy aspect, And I've been co-authored the policy brief on economic loss and damage. Yeah. And was also a policy consultant was also a climate change consultant for IIED, one of the biggest research firms in UK. Yeah. A pleasure here, and I hope to learn from everyone. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Samuel. Sounds like we have a lot to learn from you too, and that you're doing a lot of this sort of work at the governmental and international governance level. So yeah, so looks like you're already sharing in the chat, which is great. And yeah, we look forward to continued discussion. So thank you so much, Samuel. We have Bem next, and then we're getting a lot of people from Nigeria and other African countries. And if anybody from another continent is brave enough or has something to share, or even if you just have some questions, because this is all new to you, then maybe after Bem, we might have time for 1 or 2 other people. So yes, Bem, do you want to introduce yourself and where you're from?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Bem from Nigeria. And sorry, I wouldn't want to take much of our time. I'm a graduate of Forestry and Wildlife Management from Federal University of Makurdi, Nigeria also. So over the years, I've developed a passion in solving climate change problems, which within my community, basically my own village where I come from, I have carried out over since 2015. I've been doing my personal awareness within my community, where I targeted growing or planting trees, over 2,000 trees minimum yearly, in order to help tackle the problems of climate change. So basically, my focus is on tree planting, which is one of the major problems. And if you go to, if you could travel to villages within Nigeria or even in cities, you understand we've been as trees, ancient trees that would have served us or help our problem in solving this, even solving this problem, we are we are cut off. And if you go to places, you find no trees. So I've developed this idea that each and every place I visit, I must actually have an impact in planting at least trees, so that I will be remembered for what I did. So basically, that's what I've been doing over the few years. And I've done this, but it's just for personal growth. I've been doing it just for passion. So basically, that's what I've been doing. And that alone even gave me the zeal to also pursue my career in forestry, or pursue my studies in forestry and wildlife management. So basically, that's what I've been doing over the years. Thank you, everyone. I look forward to learning more and getting more experience from you people. Thank you.
Thank you, Bem. And yes, tree planting, very important. And it's great that you have a forestry background, so you're applying your knowledge to the tree planting to make it more effective. And just briefly, are you working with an organization to do this? Or you said it's your passion. Is it just a few friends or you, or I'm just wondering?
Oh, currently I'm not working with any organization. So yeah, so basically do that because of the passion I have, but I'm not working with any organization for now.
So you're doing this by yourself?
Yes, just by myself.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Well, hopefully, maybe through this course, you'll meet some other people from Nigeria, maybe that are interested in tree planting, or get some ideas about groups you can join up with, and even expand what you're doing further. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I don't see any other hands up. Fish, did you see anything in the chat, or?
Yes, I have seen so much from people around the world. They're sharing their experience and backgrounds, and some of them are sharing their contact information, which is great. So I think we should encourage people to do that until end of this section. Yeah, I haven't seen any particular question for you to answer now. Yeah.
Fish, can I put you on the spot and ask you to share your perspective as somebody, maybe just give a little bit of your background and sort of some of the advocacy things you're involved in, and
Sure.
from the Chinese perspective, where does this course fit in, and maybe what are some of the challenges and opportunities?
Yes, sure. I'd love to do that. Well, we have a few minutes left. I hope I will be interrupted if anyone have any questions. So as you might notice that we have maybe 30 or 40% of the contents in this course are particularly about China or from China. So we noticed that many of our students or participants are from Global South. Sometimes we use this term, even though you're probably on the north side of the planet. But basically, I think we want to see people in different kind of contexts and all have opportunity to do things what we call climate advocacy, especially related to policy change. So in China, where we have very different system politically from US particularly. So we have this exchange a lot, conversation between me and Marianne, and also another colleague here who's not here, Alex, who's originally from Russia. So we talk about things we can do as from the perspective of civic ecology lab. So we often think about people, ordinary people, just you and me, can do things, can make things better, can make a difference in terms of helping our climate or environmental governance. So we provide something like, for example, a friend of mine who's working for Friends of Nature for many years when I was working with the International Environmental Group in China. So we can see at very most often time, the local groups, people from the local area and who has a very good knowledge about their local environment, often have better opportunity to build this network, well, to build a trust with the politicians, with the government people, to talk about potential policy change, especially at the local level. And sometimes also like the organization like Friends of Nature, they were invited by the central government or national government many times in working together with them about the environmental policies in general for the entire country. So I think it's very interesting to study this this kind of topic, because we often don't have this opportunity to talk about policy change in country like China. Some people might not agree with using the term authoritarian. While you can have different version of this, explanation of your particular political system. I think everywhere in many of different countries, especially for our students in this group, we have very different backgrounds, but we all need to think about the politics, which is a good thing because we need politics, we need policy. Well, policy is like a tool out of politics to try to manage the humankind in a better way. So I think it's for me, I want to just share this kind of very general background about this course, and this is just the week one. I hope people will not be scared away, since we're talking about a very different knowledge background from the previous work from this lab. But I think it's definitely going to be a very exciting and interesting 4 weeks of learning with everyone, including ourselves, to kind of step in a very different world. Back to you, Marianne.
Thank you. Are you having a Chinese session today?
Yes, we will have that. Yeah, I can tell
Okay,
lots of people are there with Chinese
you'll
names,
start
but
in
they're
2
not
minutes.
right. They're not
Yeah.
asking questions yet, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
Okay, great. So those who speak Chinese can stay on at 10 o'clock and have a discussion in Chinese about some of the issues we've been talking about and what you all have been sharing. I will get the transcript of today, and a bunch of you put LinkedIn and other ways we can learn more about what you're doing. I'll try to collate those and share them through the WhatsApp group, or I'm also doing a document that I'll put up on our edX site that has different resources from the course or different things people are doing in the course. So I hope that's okay with you. If not, you should let us know you don't want your LinkedIn information posted. Mm-hmm. You can tell the Civic Ecology at cornell.edu email. But other than that, yeah, this was a great start. Really appreciate what everybody's doing and what you shared, and very interesting work. And we look forward to scaling up what everybody's doing and forming networks amongst you and coalitions and learning from each other so that you can even do more than what you're already doing. So thank you. Fish, I'm going to make you host. You're already host, so I can leave
Yes.
and
We can you already
start the
stopped
Chinese
recording.
group.
Oh, you're still recording, are you?
Oh,
You can,
okay. So
yeah,
I
you
will
can
stop.